Today, we want to talk to you about how living in this 112 square foot trailer in 112 days changed our life forever. So here goes. In my coaching practice, I always preach to approach everything as an experiment before you decide this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. So this grand experiment, we want to give you the 101 of, because many of our friends and family and clients and pretty much everybody that we've met on the road wants to know what possessed us to do this. So we thought we would share it with you today. So let us back up. My name is Coach Jennie.
I'm Meredyth.
And we have been together since 1997.
True story.
We've been married since 2003. Well, legally since 2009, and we moved into this RV, this tiny 112 square foot RV.
Hi, Stella.
That we call Stella in July 2021.
We really just wanted to share the story of why we decided to move into this tiny trailer. Our friends, our family, clients, literally the entire world is like, why? Why would you move into this trailer?
You people are crazy,
right? You're crazy. Let us tell you why.
Technically, this all started because I became slightly obsessed with watching YouTube videos on schoolies, which are school buses that get gutted and converted into RVs. I think this is fascinating. Clearly, we didn't get a schoolie because that was just a touch too much for her. But I started watching these YouTube videos 3 years ago, probably?
At least several years ago.
What really got the ball rolling was when Meredyth said she would come and assist me at my own virtual event. So let me explain this. I have this event called No Matter What, where you make these big commitments. I needed a volunteer to help me demonstrate an activity. As Meredyth is demonstrating this activity to my community and my members at the No Matter What event of her next big No Matter What commitment, I learn live with everybody else that,
well, it's time to retire from education and move on to something else.
So yeah, she decided on the spot.
After over 2 decades in education, everything from being a special education teacher to a principal to an assistant principal and everything in between, it was time to hang up my education hat.
Because like everybody else in the beginning of that pandemic lockdown, what we like to refer to as the great pause, it really gave us all pause to kind of reevaluate what we were doing, what we wanted out of life. And Meredyth was reevaluating without me even knowing about it.
That No Matter What was in January 2021. And I decided then and there that was going to be my last school year in education. So I was going to finish out the school year and be done in June of 2021.
And you have to understand that it was always my dream that my business would take off in a way where I would be able to financially retire Meredyth, and hopefully she would want to come and work with me to build the business even better. But I got to be real. I was not expecting that to happen in this decade. But now that Meredyth had really ramped up the timeline, we needed to do something radical to make it financially feasible. So my love of schoolies came into play.
We started shopping around for small trailers because I was not going to renovate a schoolie. And so we started shopping around for different small trailers and researching and figuring out what kind we really wanted. We watched a video about the Airstream nest and we just completely fell in love with how adorable, how practical, how fun and cozy it was. They happened to have one in Los Angeles and we went the very next day to take a look.
It was completely by chance that they happen to have one of these in Los Angeles because they don't make it anymore. They only made it for 2 years and they've become kind of the unicorns of the RV industry.
Yeah. And I think at that time when we wanted to see one in person, when we got the idea in our head of like, we have to go see this in person right now, there were 4 available for sale in the whole country. So the fact that there was one in Los Angeles felt like a little bit too good to be true.
Yeah, but you need to understand. I'm sorry, I keep saying yeah, but you need to understand. Neither of us have ever, towed something. We're both very much indoor girls. We're not people that go camping all the time. So the idea that we were or ever. There you go. Thank you. The whole idea that we were going to not only check out this tiny little trailer that's meant for a weekend getaway and move into it while she retires from education and joins my business as CEO of the company, seemed a little ridiculous. But, we're open-minded and we're kind of adventurous and we approach everything as an experiment, as I said before. So let's just go see the trailer. Besides, we had been locked down so much, we just needed to get out of the house.
We parked the car, we opened the door to the nest. I ran inside the trailer, sat down at the table and was like, this is ours, like within 5 seconds.
It was really scary. She put her feet up. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much trouble.
I was like, this is ours. And then I may or may not have allegedly gone outside and hugged the trailer.
She literally
And that's
hugged
when
the
she
trailer.
knew we were done.
Yeah, I really think that kind of sacked all of our negotiation prospects with the salesperson, where Meredyth is literally hugging the Airstream.
She's super huggable though.
She's super huggable. But we're really excited because this was going to mean that we were going to be able to have the financial freedom we needed. It was going to allow us to move away from our, let's face it, pretty expensive Los Angeles apartment in order to make this big financial risk and take this huge leap into, well, the unknown.
So since we had never towed or hitched or camped or anything before, we decided let's just cross the starting line. Let's approach it as an experiment, as we do. We are going to take off July 4th from Los Angeles, headed towards my parents' house in Birmingham, Alabama, aiming to get there by Thanksgiving. We have from July until Thanksgiving. If we hate it, if we kill each other, if anything happens, like worst case, we'll sell the trailer because they're super popular. We'll sell it when we get to Birmingham and we'll start over, like no big deal.
And we also decided that we would not make a decision until we got to Birmingham, because if we were going to make a decision about whether or not we liked this lifestyle within the first 2 months, we wouldn't have enough data. We wouldn't have enough information. We'd still be making some really colossal mistakes that you make when you start something like this. And we wanted to make sure we gave it time, but it certainly didn't take nearly as much time as we expected it to for us to fall in love with this lifestyle.
Another piece of the puzzle is that we did not yet have a vehicle that could tow Stella.
We had a Fiat. It was not capable of towing a trailer.
Literally the cart before the horse, but that's okay. The dealership took very good care of Stella while we researched and figured out which tow vehicle would be really good for us in terms of safety, being comfortable, for it being half of our home. So by the time we got all that organized and getting the hitch on and learning everything, how to prep our tow vehicle, it was finally the day to pick up the trailer in Los Angeles. And we get to the Airstream dealership. They give us the tour, how to do everything, and we connected to the hitch. And then guess where we learned to tow for the first time ever?
On the Hollywood freeway.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's how you do it. A lot of friends were making fun of us. They're like, oh my gosh, you never learned how to tow anything? I'm like, no, but when you did, you had to make sure you didn't hit a cow. We had to do so on the 101 in Los Angeles.
From there, we took it literally just one step at a time. When we pulled the trailer out, the very next thing was get it to the campground. Okay, we got it to the campground. What's the very next thing we have to do? We have to learn how to unhitch. Okay. And so by literally just taking it one step at a time across the country, it really helped it to just be doable.
And this is really why we're telling you this story, is one, you might be interested, but two, because when you're about to do something, if you start with a strategy, you feel like you have to have everything mapped out. You have to know every single step of the way. If we had to have a strategy to try this lifestyle out, we never would have started. What we had to do is say, okay, it's an experiment. We're going to be safe and careful, research every step of the way and figure it out. Now, have we figured out a lot of things? I feel like every single time we hitch up the trailer or climb into the trailer or unhitch the trailer or move the trailer, we learn something more, and it's a little bit easier every single time. By now I feel like an expert, and backing it up is nowhere near as scary.
You're a total pro.
Meredyth had us mapped out to every little campsite along the way between Los Angeles and Birmingham. It was absolutely beautiful, but
you know, three natural disasters later.
Yeah.
A little bit of rerouting.
A lot of rerouting. And just like anything, if you're experimenting, things change and you have to be nimble. And we were. Again, we were promising ourselves that we would not get excited or not make any decisions about how much we liked this lifestyle. But be honest, by the time we were in Arizona, we were already in love with it.
Arizona, so close to California. We arrived in Alabama, got settled. Whew, we made it across the country in this giant experiment of ours successfully and somehow happier than when we started.
Yeah.
And we had just, you know, a heart to heart of like, I know we said in Arizona we really like this, but do we? Do we want this to become our new life, this untethered life? And we do. We really, really do.
But we want a little more than 112 square feet. I mean, honestly, the inside of this trailer is so cozy and yummy for a weekend, but to live in it day in and day out is probably like living in most people's spare bathrooms. You know what I mean? So it is really tiny in there. And we realized we were going to need a little more elbow room. So we decided to put in an order for a new, shiny, classic looking Pottery Barn Airstream, which is the brand new fancy one. It's going to be here this summer. We're going to take you on our adventure adventures with us. We're so excited about it. But what we thought was kind of cool is the day we ordered the trailer was exactly 112 days after we had picked up the trailer that first day in Los Angeles. So it really was 112 days and 112 square feet. And
Meant to be.
it was meant to be. It changed everything for us. So we want to share with you a few of the things that we have learned along the way.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I learned about myself and about both of us, but especially for me, is that we really can do hard things. I always used to be the kind of person that I had to know the outcome before I could even get started. And this really pushed me to embrace the fact that I may not know what the outcome is, but I'm confident that we can figure it out together. That really taught me I'm very capable of hard things even if I don't know how it's going to turn out, which was pretty freaking cool.
The thing that surprised me was that home is wherever we are. And this idea that we would feel like we're not at home, that we are away, really haunted me. That was one of the things I was really worried about. But the truth was, every time that we went to pick up supplies and we finished going out to dinner, I said, okay, let's go back home. Even though home had changed every few days, it was really exciting that wherever the trailer was, wherever we were, that felt like home.
Also, FYI, the shortest direction is not always the best route. Sometimes the long wandering, we made a wrong turn and now we're 2 extra hours on the road, turned out to be like the best thing ever because we saw amazing things we would never otherwise see or found an amazing fun spot to stop for lunch. And it really became all about the journey and not the destination, which I know is cheesy, but it really is true.
It's good cheese.
It's good cheese. And we stopped planning everything to get from point A to point B the fastest possible. I'll stay at this campsite because it's 30 minutes closer. And we stopped doing that and we relaxed and we really enjoyed it. I think it's a good lesson in the future that the shortest and quickest is not always the best.
One of the things that's been really important that differentiates us from a lot of the RVers that we run into that are full-time RVers is we are not on vacation and we're not retired. Although she retired from education, she's still working. She's now the full-time CEO of my business. We have a full-time plus job. And so as long as we were able to find Wi-Fi, and you have figured out how to conquer all things Wi-Fi,
ask if you have questions.
We have been able to run our empire from this tiny little trailer. It does not take that much space. It just takes that much imagination.
So here we are, 112 days later in 112 square feet. And we're moving from an experiment of does this full-time RV living suit us to an indefinite commitment to our untethered life.
It's really exciting. So we have a whole nother level of a no matter what commitment. So thank you so much for listening to us share the story. I hope it's valuable to you. I hope it inspires you, maybe not to move into a tiny trailer. We're not trying to start that as a movement, but to approach something big and bold as an experiment, to not wait until everything is just so or you're ready, to take even some financial and emotional risks because you just never know where the road might take you.
Literally.
Oh, wow. See, I walked into that. More cheese. Thank you for listening to our very personal story. Until next time, go make it happen no matter what.